Should I just get started here?
Yeah.
Cool.
And
All
I'm
right.
going to mute myself while you're going. However, I will unmute when we have a question.
Perfect. Yeah. So, sounds great. Well, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Jonathan Rodriguez, and essentially specialize in visibility for, well, at this point, cleaning companies, almost exclusively, to be able to help cleaning companies get more leads, essentially, through various tactics. And we're going to talk about some of those things today. So, really quick, my background, I started online marketing in 2002. I was pretty young, and I started in e-commerce, basically selling things online. I was living in California. I was able to go down to LA, Los Angeles, because I wasn't in Los Angeles at the time. I was in Orange County. Get like entertainment memorabilia that from stores that sold them like on Sunset Boulevard, buy them and then sell them like on eBay, essentially all over the world. And it was it was really great. It was really repeatable. It was scalable, which was awesome. And so I was able to do that for a long time. And then luckily, I was able to move, to Utah, where I had some friends, and so I did the whole mountain life away from the big city. It was great. We got a cheesecake factory. Everybody was really excited, you know what I mean? Because that was a big deal for Salt Lake City at the time. And then in 2009, I became a consultant. And so that was where I essentially learned a lot more about online marketing, everything, because I was teaching it. And so I had the skills to be able to do that at the time because I started learning SEO specifically and like Google pay-per-click and things like that in 2007. And so when I became a consultant for another company, I was able to teach people online marketing all over the world. We're talking the US, Canada, the UK, Australia, Africa, Asia, the Middle East, South America, all over the place. Luckily, it was a little bit cooler, I think, of it in person, but like that would have been fun. But through Skype at the time. And so I was able to, essentially figure out problems that people had. They presented them to me, and I was able to tell them how to be able to fix it, and also teach them how to start businesses online, whether they were local businesses or whether they were selling or doing affiliate marketing or trying to do this, that, and the other. So I have a lot of experience in teaching, and that's what I'm going to try to bring to you guys today is helping you with any questions that you have and solving problems, and also kind of presenting to you, what's going on right now with Google, and how you can use your website that you likely already have to have it make you more money. Sometimes people will have websites as business cards. They'll say, "Oh, visit my website." They'll use it, and people will visit that. But what we want to be able to do, ideally, is to be able to have that website convert people, to be able to snatch people from the internet. You know what I mean, and have them, ask you or call you or email you over your competitors, essentially. So we're going to be talking about that today. You're welcome to jump in with any questions that you have also. I have about five major points I'll talk about. I have some questions for you as well, just for the fun of it, but if you need me to stop somewhere and you have questions, feel free to go ahead and do that. I'm here for a couple of hours, so you can. I'm also, happy to look at your websites live too if you want. I can share my screen and we can look at it, and I can show you, what I think would need to be done. So it's like a classroom today, if that's all right with you guys. So I'll share my screen in a little bit, but what I want to do is just kind of talk about, what's going on. So actually, let's share my screen now. Why not? I think it's probably a good time to do that. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Share. And if you guys just can confirm with me that I am sharing my screen because of the way you guys have it set up, that would be great. And we should be seeing the Rescue My Maid service page for
Yes,
today.
that is what we see.
Awesome. Okay. Okay, good. All right, great. So, you know, I guess I'll just pop up a search that I've done and we'll just kind of start here. Office cats on the prowl. FYI, you guys, he may just be in front of the camera for a second. But, what I want to talk to you about is how it says here that, there's a new Google game and how some things have changed. And so, really, what I want to show you here is what everything is, what people are doing on these pages, and what you can do to be there also. That's kind of a good place to start. So I just typed in something called house cleaning near me. It knows that I'm in Orlando. And when we do that, ideally you'd want to come up and be seen on this page somewhere, obviously. There are hundreds of thousands of searches per month in the United States for cleaning companies. Hundreds of thousands. Some have more searches than others. Some will be, very, very specific, like, gym cleaning services in College Park, Florida, okay, which is like going to be like very few amount of searches, but they're actually really they convert very high if you have a page like that on your website. Some of them are just going to be commercial cleaning services near me, house cleaning near me, things like that, or house cleaning Orlando, that sort of thing. So it just depends on the volume, depends on what people are typing in. So right here we have the Google LSA ads, and essentially these are just ads that people have created where they have trust signals, like they've got 120 reviews there. This one has 259. I think you need to have about five minimum, and then they're just like a lead generation thing. Sometimes people have told me that it's $20 for a lead. Sometimes people it's $100 a lead. Depends on your market and your area. But these are the ones that show up first, probably because Google makes the most money out of them. Okay. So this is a place where you can, pop yourself up on and be seen right away, but it does get expensive. I've got clients who, have told me before that they're good. Some people say I hate them. They kind of run on their own, but some people have told me that you're able to influence certain things. I just saw one a little bit earlier when I was doing a search that said like Annie's Cleaning Service Tampa. And Tampa is about an hour and 20 minutes away from where I'm at. So I'm like, okay, they didn't set that up very well. So whoever may have set that up for them or whatever it is. So there are ways you can work on these to make sure you are pretty accurate for the neighborhoods you're trying to serve. So these are called the LSA ads. Down here, you've got your Google Maps. This is a sponsored ad that usually comes from Google Ads. It used to be called Google AdWords, but this is a sponsored ad here. But this would be position number one, number two, and number three. So remember that because we're going to come back to that here in a little bit. But being in the maps is great because if you show up here, you're getting leads. People are calling, they're calling every day, likely, especially if you have a keyword like that. And then down here, we have some questions. It's just some sort of thing that Google popped up in there. And now we have the organic listings. So, we one of the things about the Google ads, which changed, because we're talking about change here a little bit today, is that you used to be able to, especially on your mobile phone, be able to search for something and then tap on the call button. And that would give people the ability to tap on that and give you a call right away. Well, if you've noticed on your mobile device in the past maybe 3 months or so, Google's taken that away. And so the click through, the call through rate has lowered a little bit. People have to do one extra step. They've got to click on this, assuming you're on a phone, and then tap on the call button. So that's changed a little bit. And that's why, we're talking about leads and how maybe things have changed a little bit and slowed down. So there's that, there's also like those AI overviews. And so we have something like this. Now, those AI overviews pop up in about 60 to 70% of searches now. And some of those have taken away some searches from some people. But what I've noticed, and I think you may have noticed this as well, is that it's an answer engine. It's an AI overview here. So people, unless you're typing in something like, where do I find the best gym cleaning service in Orlando? Generally speaking, that's not going to come up unless you ask a question. Okay, so most people right now, it's for, and which is great for everybody here in this room, is that, you're not really affected too much as of this moment. But what I've been, asked a lot about, from current clients and ones that are talking to me about potentially about, working with me is that, they're like, hey, do you optimize for AI? Yes, we can do that. People are very concerned about ChatGPT and Perplexity and Claude and all that. I wouldn't worry about most of those. But people have found, local businesses through ChatGPT, as I'm sure you may have tried yourself. I have an e-commerce business online. I can see where everyone's coming from. Most people just still use Google. So wanted to let you guys know that everyone's safe for the moment, but it is important to be able to, consider getting ahead of the game just in case something does change, because Google changes all the time. So, that's really important for that. The reviews, are still really, really important to be able to get. We'll talk about that here in a little bit, but it's important that if you want to show up in Google, if you want to show up on that first page, if you want to get more traffic, what you want to do is you want to look at your website like a tree, okay? And the trunk of the tree is your homepage. And the different keywords, the different services that you offer, and the different like service areas, pages that you've created are like branches of that tree. And so you want to be able to have as many branches as possible to bring people to the trunk of your tree, which would be your homepage. That's where you'd have, your opt-in or your phone number or your best sales pitch or whatever it is. So we'll be talking a little bit about that today, about like different things that are involved with a website that you should ideally have. That way you can have the biggest opportunity to be able to get people to capture that lead over potentially your competitor. So, your website still matters more than people do think. And so conversion is helpful. I'm going to show you an example of a site that it's a template for WordPress that I've set up for somebody, but that I was able to create. And it's going to give you some good insight, I think, as to how a website nowadays, I feel like, should be built. It changes all the time. If you have a really good name for yourself and you're not in a really highly populated area like the middle of Los Angeles or the middle of Miami or something like that, generally speaking, as long as you present well, people will call you. But if you're in a competitive industry or area, like this one's in like the Greater Toronto area, which is basically the Los Angeles of Canada, you kind of need a little bit more. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you what that is. All right. So as you can see here, this page, talks about, who they are, what they do, and where they do it before you even have to scroll down. Okay. So we've got home and office cleaning in Milton. This is, Ontario, Canada, and the GTA, the Greater Toronto Area, proudly providing professional house cleaning, maid service, and commercial cleaning throughout the Greater Toronto Area, as you can see here, including, and then we have some other cities included in there, the major cities that they wanted to show up for. And so right away, you know where you're at. Google knows what it is you're doing, things like that. And just to the right here, you're able to, ask questions. And so we have it set up as questions for our cleaners for a reason. Get a quote, ask for a quote, is something that people don't have it's as high of an intent as they would if they're like, okay, I do have a question for your cleaners. Do you guys, do this, or can you do this, that sort of thing. So this tends to work out pretty well. That's just kind of a tip for you guys. If you have it opt-in somewhere, I found that tends to convert better than request a quote. Okay. This one also underneath says, don't forget to ask about our 50% off cleaning special. Before I forget about this, I want to talk to you about this for a second, because there's a lot of competition in this industry, as we all know. We also know that a bag of carrots costs, more than it did before, you know what I mean? Just because of how life is, and so people are looking for deals, at times. And if it were me and I like two people the same, like, oh, I like this company too, I like this one too, but this one's going to offer me 50% off my first cleaning, I think I would probably choose the one that offered me an incentive to try them out, and so I always encourage my clients to create something like that to set yourself apart from people who don't think about doing that. That usually wins you the deal. So anyhow, that's just a little side note because I probably would have forgotten about it. But then they have your name, your email, your phone number, comments, or questions for our cleaners. Then they go ahead and click on get an estimate or request the quote or send message or whatever it may be. So that's helpful there. The most highly converting sites I've seen all have this right here, all of them. Okay, so if you don't have one now, consider getting one. You know, you can have a website redesign, or you can have potentially somebody who's smarter than I am, who does coding and things like that for a living, on Fiverr or something like that.com to go ahead and pop one in there for you, you know. So that's something that's really helpful when it comes to a website. Also, if we look up here in the main menu, we can see here, this looks pretty busy. So this is, I'm not gonna lie, this is a little busy for different services, but people are able to find exactly what they're looking for right away. Whether they're just like, you know, they're looking for house cleaning, or looking for commercial cleaning, or they're looking for deep cleaning or post-construction, they'll be able to see it right there. Now, sometimes people structure it a little bit differently, and they'll have like house cleaning, and they'll put like, you know, maybe recurring cleaning, deep cleaning, move out cleaning, you know, potentially like Airbnb cleaning, something like that. So you can condense those, and then the other ones, you know, it's probably a good idea to maybe put them down here somewhere also. You do want those pages, if you do create those pages, to be visible in the menu, either at the bottom or at the top. Because if they're just pages that are just kind of like floating around in there somewhere, you know, Google says, okay, well, they must not be that important if they're just kind of, you know, not really considered to be a page. Everything that's in the main menu at the top is considered to be the most important. So use that real estate that you have at the top for the most important things. And there's a science to this. So house cleaning service and maid service, we all know that's the same thing. Sometimes in some areas of the US, people will say, oh, I don't do maid service because they're thinking, you know, the uniform and being there every day and things like that. That's not the case. It means the same thing. I mean, maybe in some places it means the uniform and being there every day. You know, that's usually kind of like live-in housekeeper sort of thing. I don't know. But you know, maid service is actually searched for more than house cleaning service. And so it's good to be able to have that on there because Google will actually read, you know, what is on your page or what's in the main menu and say, okay, but talking about house cleaning, we can file them under that. Talking about maid service, we can file them under that. You know, but when people have a page that just says like regular service, that's not necessarily saying those words that Google actually, you know, identifies with this type of industry, which would be house cleaning and maid service. So I'd encourage you all to, if you do have a page, you know, on your site that says something different, like regular cleaning or something like that, change it to like regular house cleaning, something like that. That's really helpful too, because you're able to capture what Google wants, and then it also should match up with what you have in your Google business profile. If you have a house cleaning service and maid service and regular maid service and recurring maid service or whatever it may be, you know, if it says that in your Google services and it says it on your website, Google will connect the dots and show you up higher. So each one of these pages is optimized for, you know, the city that they're trying to rank in. So recurring maid service, people do search for that as a keyword. It's more than some others. And so this page is actually completely optimized for the city that she works in and recurring maid service. So you want to be able to have those pages on your site optimized so you can create that branch of the tree that people can help find you from, if that makes sense. So you made this little fancy on the right. That's not necessary, but I got a little creative with the emojis over there. So I think you kind of get that point. So there's that right there as far as the services go. But we also have here a service area. So under service areas right here, these are the different areas that this person's particularly trying to target, you know. So we'll have, you know, I think we were talking about, Michelle, we were talking about that a little bit earlier about the service pages. I said, that's a great idea that you have those for your business, you know. And so if it's like Georgetown, for example, we'll have a page about Georgetown and house cleaning service as a keyword, not regular cleaning, but house cleaning service, because that's what people search for in Georgetown, Ontario. And then we've got content that's optimized for that. This is just one example of one that I was able to kind of work on myself. There's another client here that kind of has a similar design as well. They're in Maine, you know, but they have also questions for our cleaners. They've got, you know, the name, phone number, email, property address. They ask for that for some reason. How can we help? You know, and so they have things, you know, set up pretty similarly as well. Some people like it how it is and they don't want things changed. Some people do. So I just want to kind of show you guys here what, what's important with that, the different signals that are involved, like trust signals. Let's go back to that real quick.
And we do
So
have a question as
yeah,
well. So should each service, deep, recurring, move in, move out, have its own service page and its own page in the service area, or just one or the other?
it should always have its own page for sure. Because now you're optimizing for that. You've got content on there. Google's saying, okay, they do this type of work. So you should do that. If this gets too busy, which it looks, I mean, I'm okay with it. I don't really judge too much, but because it's almost like a menu in a way that you can like flip through, and so I like it there. That's good. If not, you can put it at the bottom, but it is important that everybody has their own page. Here's an example of a client I have here in Boston. And this is in commercial cleaning. And so for their services, what we did is this to kind of clean it up a little bit, as we created a page about the industries that they serve, mentioned some of the most popular areas in Boston, right? So we have signals in there to tell Google, okay, so what areas are they working in Boston? Everything's a signal. And then we have it organized like this, like the industries we clean. This is for like office
That's
buildings,
super
co-workers.
cool.
Yeah, so it's
So back to the other one, can it be indexed for Google? So like there's a page there, but it's not in that menu. So
so do
like
you
I
mean
did see that there was the house cleaning and maid cleaning and green cleaning and eco cleaning. Like each of those could technically be one thing, but I know that, they're probably doing it for the Google aspect of it because you don't know whether people are going to ask for green clean or eco clean.
that's why we have it. Exactly. It's just for the keywords. So if someone types in eco-friendly, and Google's pretty smart. It'll do both. It'll understand, both
Hmm.
as the same thing. And you could probably combine them together, but out of like an abundance of just not caution, but I guess trying to be able to get as many leads as possible, we went ahead and created a new page for each one that targets that particular keyword. Because somebody will type in green, somebody will type in eco-friendly, Milton, Ontario, for example. We want to see if they can show up or not. So
Awesome.
you have it that way for that. But this one was organized a little bit differently. And then also just to save space as well for the service areas on this one, we created content around it, which is good. And then all of these are just the areas they service. And so as we create more service area pages for it, we'll go ahead and do that. And these will all end up being blue links at one point. I just didn't want to, you don't want to blow them all out at one time. It's just going to look like kind of spammy to the search engines and stuff. So that's why we have those. It is important, I believe, to make sure we have our phone numbers on display. Some people kind of forget that for some reason. I don't know why, but they do have, we do want those. We do want some trust signals. It's what's called a trust signal. Essentially, it shows you, your Google reviews or their Google reviews. And so they tend to flip through depending on what program that you're using. So you can see, the reviews. That's definitely a good trust signal. Before and after photos are also really good as well. Everything that you can do to be able to show that you guys are actually like real people, like Michelle, like right here, this is great. This is actually one of the signals is showing photos of your team, and so that's really, really cool and helpful to have that because it shows Google that you're not using stock photography. Now, is everybody on your team going to be super excited to have their photo taken? All of you guys that are here, maybe not, I mean, but I think at the same time, it probably is not that big of a deal. But they do want to make sure that you have your own photos as well, so they can just see that you're a real company essentially. But yeah, so also Google Maps is important too. I don't really have one set up here for you to show you today. I can show you if you want to get a snapshot. I can show you your own if you'd like, and we can look at that. If these need to be set up correctly, and so a way to set them up correctly would be see if we can just pick this guy apart. I'm not sure who this is or if I can even how deep I can get into their site. But when you do have a description, because you have the ability to have services description. In your description, you don't want to put something like, well, our team is the best in the West because of blah, 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 this and that. This one's actually very spammy. Cleaning Services Orlando. You don't want to do this. I mean, it looks like that they're doing okay with it, but this is all very like black hat SEO, very spammy sort of stuff. It appears to be working for Morgan over here, so it is what it is. But you want to make sure that whatever services that you offer on your site, you also have them in your Google business profile because they're going to meet up. They're going to be able to match each other. So as we're talking about visibility and being able to show up and doing things that are pretty easy for you guys to do, you're on your own and actionable, you do want to have that. But in that description there, you don't want to say something like, you were the best in the West. You want to put something like, Michelle's cleaning service, offers house cleaning and maid service to, you know, Minneapolis, Minnesota, and the surrounding areas, including this, that, and the other. And then also, put other keywords in there, like we offer, recurring cleaning and deep cleaning and, move out cleaning and things like that. So all of these things have signals to Google. So they're talking about, move out cleaning and maid service, and it says it on their website, and that's a service they have in their Google business profile. Well, they must be there, they must be really relevant for maid service. So that's kind of some of the things that I think are important to have, with a website, so make sure that everything's really, really relevant. And I have here for you guys later on, which we'll talk about here a little bit later, but I have, 115 point checklist for you that has talks that's I'm going to give to you guys so you're able to kind of just check things off as you go, for some of the things that are going to be really helpful for you to get more visibility, to get more leads, to your website. And so also people talk to me about, again, AI and chat GPTs and AI overviews. And some people are like really, really worried about it. I've got a client who sent me all new content because she's been using Claude like no one's business, you know what I mean? And so she's like all about it, you know what I mean? And she really wants to get ahead of it and use every signal possible, even though it's not pulling up, even though these normal searches are not pulling up, a lot of these different like AI overviews and things like that, but the vast majority of your leads are still coming from Google, and even though people are trying to get ahead of the game, I wouldn't really worry too much about it, but I also wouldn't sleep on it either. So the people that are, more savvy, well, let's see if there's more here. Homework stuff. There's a lot going on. But the people that are more savvy that do want to work more with like AI visibility and things like that, these are some of the things I've talked about here, is just as far as like, making sure that you have good content in there, that you've got credible content, that we talked about, where you're working, things like that. Structured data implementation has to do with technical SEO. That's just for another time, but I have it all covered for you guys. And then you can score yourselves at the bottom too if you want to see kind of how you are, how you're doing, in this area. So if you're like under 40, you may be losing to your competitors. If you're 90 to 115, you're doing great, that sort of stuff. So that's helpful there, and if I owned a cleaning company again, because I did in 2012 to 2016, you guys are probably doing a lot better than I did because we didn't have all kinds of like help back then. We didn't have round tables and we didn't have like, trainings and things like that. It was actually kind of it's an odd story, and I'm not going to bring it up now, but I just kind of fell into it. But you guys have a lot of great resources for this. But if I owned a cleaning company again today, the first thing I would do is work on my service pages, my service area pages, making sure my Google business profile was all complete, that everything matched up. You don't have one phone number on this thing and one different phone number on the other one, and really be able to implement some good, consistent content in there. I would likely also consider doing, Google ads. I think those are helpful. Some of my most successful clients, and some do like a couple $1 million a year, They'll do both. They have people come, they have leads coming in from everywhere. I see people are also doing like Facebook ads, which I don't know a lot about. But that's just really kind of the overview of like being able to, help win, and help have your business be seen versus other people's businesses, is to be able to have them set up correctly, have those trust signals, and do all that. So I have a question for you guys. I'm not sure how many of you are in here, but what are you guys currently using to get customers? Or what's your biggest source of new customers? Do we know? We can put it in the chat or something. I gotta find the chat again.
And we do have a question as well as everybody's popping that in. Is it a good idea to Google something like what cleaning businesses near me are licensed and insured, and see if they show us, or should we just not worry about something like that right now?
That's a good question. I've never actually done that before, but I would imagine that if when people put on their website licensed and insured, I'm sure Google will read that and come up. But do you want to try it?
Yeah, let's do
That's
it.
a great idea. I never thought about that before. Which cleaning companies?
See, I'm sitting over here thinking of all the questions to ask. I am on it.
Yeah, no, that's great because I don't know if what's going to come up, and that could be really helpful for me to help with, clients as well.
I
Okay, so
know
what AI
as
comes up?
well, I know as an owner for the attendees that if y'all haven't attended something with Rescue before, it's sometimes overwhelming to attend one of these like roundtable workshops and you're getting good info, but you're like, what do I do with it? I don't even know what to ask. I got you. I'm trying to
Yeah,
think of all the questions for you guys.
that's really helpful. Thank you for that. And we'll see here that it pulls up an AI overview. So that's really, really cool that you brought that up because this is a perfect example of why it's important to potentially create as the best content you can as possible. I am sure that Google has read their website and has pulled it in because look right here, it says Two Maids Orlando. It's linking to the Two Maids website where it likely talks about how they're fully background checked, bonded, and insured. So yeah, so that's where the AI importance comes in, as far as that goes. And down here, potentially, we would see, okay, yeah, the organic results where it's saying it's fully licensed, bonded, and insured. That's amazing. That's really cool. I'm writing that down, Sandy. That was actually really helpful because I'll make sure that anybody I work with in the future, we have that in there because that's a totally valid question.
So, just a quick aside, I did the same thing and it said highly rated, licensed, and insured cleaning companies operating in and directly around the Albertville, Minnesota area, and Sparkling Homes is on top.
Oh, you're in there? Oh, good. That's
Thank
awesome.
goodness.
Yeah, no, if not, to add that line somewhere. So
Right.
that's a really great win. And that's another branch of your tree. It really
Yep.
is, because that's not something else that people are going to be searching for. So that's great.
Excellent.
So yeah, let's put that up there. So what other questions do we have here? I've got just random questions for people. Will there be a recording? This is a good question. Is there going to be a recording of this?
Yes, I already answered it, but I'll go ahead and say it again. It takes me about a week, give or take my schedule this week, to get the download, get it uploaded in iMovie, add the intro, the outro, the edits, blah, 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 and get it emailed to the attendees. I will also add it to the Rescue Resource Hub at some point later, but that's not my priority. My priority is to get it to everybody that registered because uploading it to the Rescue Resource Hub is a little bit more of a pain in the butt and it takes forever. But I will eventually have it there too.
Gotcha. Cool. That's great. And will that be up there forever, or does it go away at a certain time?
They pretty much stay up there. I audit the Resource Hub videos maybe once, twice a year. And if they are starting to feel antiquated for where the industry is sitting, then I'll go ahead and remove it. Michelle did a hiring one last month, and then a couple years ago, there's another one where she did a hiring one. So when I put the one from last month into the resource hub for hiring, I'll take the older one off so that it's also not getting too cluttered as well.
Gotcha. Good. Well, I will not
Now,
erase Sandy.
now resources, that is something I do need to ask you about because you've got that checklist for them,
I
and
do.
I don't have that to put in the email when I send the replay. So I do need to get that from you.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that should be on my site. So I have it here.
Okay, good deal.
This is the, yeah, so we'll talk about that, but I do have that website growth checklist. So if you guys want to visit the site, it just talks to you more about like, visibility for your website, in the cleaning industry. And so we have that here. You just download it right here. It's under cleaning service SEO .com/checklist. You can download it here. And if you want, you can play with these cool calendars I just created or calculators I created, which talks about like, how you can, dream about or implement some of these different types of techniques and be able to help get more recurring clients. Kind of moves up and down, so you can see like monthly or yearly. So that's kind of fun. And if those of you who are in the commercial cleaning space, there's one down here for you as well. And these are more of like yearly things. Like commercials, more like yearly contracts and stuff, which are pretty cool. And warehouse cleaning, which is kind of neat. Those are like $90,000 a year, which is pretty good. I'm sure there's quite a few costs in there, but I had a client one time who told me that one warehouse clean was worth 13 houses. So some people I know definitely try to get into, commercial cleaning also because it's just bigger money, essentially. The bids are different. I'm not really quite sure how. It's not really my industry anymore, but they take care of that part. So,
Jonathan,
that's
I'll
good.
just grab the link to that whole page because you've got all your tools on there, and I'll just include that in the email when I send the replay.
Okay, that sounds good. I can pop that over to you here now, since you probably are doing that. But I do see some of you are talking about Google and word of mouth. That's really good. Word of mouth is great. When word of mouth kind of starts to die down, you do want to make sure you have a predictable lead generation system, whether it's Google Ads, like Anna's saying over here, or ads and word of mouth, or just Google or whatever it may be. Those are it's good to be able to have a well-rounded marketing, plan. And I've even done when I was working in post-construction cleaning, toward the end of my cleaning company career, I was actually mailing out mailers to construction companies that build homes and things like that. I think I mailed out like 100 and we got like five recurring clients out of it. So, it's really great to be able to have everything to be well-rounded, but we do want to show up where people are actually searching. So that's helpful there. So what's been the most effective thing, I guess, with you guys when you've been doing marketing for your cleaning companies? Is there anything that's been like really, really exceptionally helpful? Do we have any answers for that? Because I am curious as to what people are doing and using. Definitely Google. Okay, that's great. Yeah. So do we do Google paid ads or is it like just SEO? You just end up showing up naturally?
Um, I think mine is a little bit of both.
Okay, good. So the cost per click is pretty good up there. It looks like you're
Mhm.
not in a major city from what I saw from some of the cities that you're operating in.
Correct. So we're kind of like in the exurbs, I guess. So we're outside of the suburbs, but we're like the next
What
town.
is that? Exurb? I've never heard of this. This is my thing. Is that a thing?
Well, they're like the suburbs of Minneapolis, and we're on the outside of the suburb.
Okay, so is that more rural?
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of farm fields, I guess.
Okay, that's good. I like working in those areas because, creating what you've done, which is really smart, was creating those individual city pages.
Hmm.
And those are kind of easier to optimize, of course, than being in like in a major metropolitan area. So I'm sure you're doing pretty well in those areas. So that's wonderful to see.
For sure.
Um, okay, so Anna said I post almost daily on Google Business Profile. and you're finding the top five searches. That's awesome. That's great. And there's also ways that, you can post strategically too. If you're looking to post like, because I've got clients who post like daily also, and they'll put some blurbs and things, but you can actually create them specifically for SEO and the AI optimization, like those answer engines that we saw. That's called AEO, or answer engine optimization. So there's SEO, there's AEO, there's even GEO, which is generative engine optimization, which you guys don't really need to know too much about as far as that goes. It almost means the same thing, but there's ways you can create those posts that are strategically designed to help boost you in the maps also. So if that's something you want to, because I offer like a snapshot here. Part of our uh, bonuses here today is you can go to my website and then ask for like a snapshot, or you can book a call if you want to chat about something, and I can just talk to you about that if you'd like. It's down, that offer's down here somewhere, so you can check it out. So that's cool. That's great to see that. And so, do you think you get more clients from? Trying to find your spot here again. Do you think you get more clients from the ads or from naturally showing up? Michelle, do you know?
Um, I would think the ads because the ads show first.
Because I think they do, which is great. And also you have so many different cities that you work in. And so when I tell people, when I see that people are showing up for like, I don't know, 15 different cities through like SEO or whatever it is, but they're trying to target another 10 or 15. Definitely spend that budget on where you're not already showing up. And I think that's really helpful to save money if you're looking to save money, because eventually a lot of people that I know want to stop doing ads and then just do SEO. And I have a client who's got two websites. One is in New Jersey and one is in Alabama, and they just rely on SEO only. They don't do any paid ads whatsoever, which I thought was pretty interesting because usually I like to see things well-rounded, but SEO is definitely something that's helpful. So that's good.
And Sandy did say cause marketing was killer for her. It does really well in small town businesses, and communities love seeing you involved with their local community.
So cause marketing, what are we talking about here? Can you explain that to me a little bit more? I'm sure I know what it
So
means, but I'd love to hear it.
So one thing that I tried a bunch of different things, but one thing that I ran a lot that people loved is I would call the local animal shelter and I would say, "Hey, what are you guys low on?" And they would say, "Dog food, dog toys." And I would go to my social media and on the website or wherever and say, "Hey, we're going to run a special next month. For every new customer that signs up, we're going to donate a 15-pound bag of dog food to Cumberland Animal Shelter." And people loved it.
I love it now.
It was a lot of setup, kind of, because, we had to actually track who signed up. We had to get the food. We had to get it to the animal shelter. So I tell folks when they're looking to kind of just start with cause marketing, go on your Facebook business profile, add your profile, and go follow your local animal shelter. And when they post something, just share it. And if your rescue squad, local rescue squad, firehouse, whatever, something like that, they post something, follow them, share it. And then people that follow them see that you shared it. And it's just this like really easy, spend 10 minutes on it a week way to keep putting your business name in front of people without really having to do a whole lot.
I love that. That's awesome. That's a great idea.
It
And
works best in like the small towns. I mean, you start talking New York City or bigger places, it's probably going to be a little bit harder to stand out with it, but I mean, it's a great way to do it, and it's free. I mean, it costs you time to take the time to do those things, but it's really helpful because you got like, what is it, 7 touch points of them like seeing your name or hearing your business before they're ready to convert.
mm,
This puts your name in front of them another time, so it's easy.
and it's good for the soul.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
I love that. No, I wrote that down. I put some stars next to it. I'm like, I need to go research more into that. That's wonderful.
That's
Um,
There's a
awesome.
Maid Summit video somewhere on Zen Maid's YouTube from a few years ago where I went into it. So,
okay, so this one started social media. This is an answer from Anna about the question I had had about where they get their leads from. We get more with Google Ads, but they don't stick. Okay, well, we can talk about that later because actually, I have a few questions here for some people, but I think right now it may be a good time to maybe just have people ask questions for me. I can look at your websites if you want to. I can answer specific questions to the best of my ability. Would that work for you guys?
yes.
Cool.
Look,
Uh,
Michelle's like, yes, me first, me first.
yeah, well, should I stop sharing my screen? Will that be easier? Well,
Um,
no, actually, no. Let me just keep sharing my screen because that way I can pull up a website if needed. So,
yeah, go ahead and pop into Michelle's, and then while you're going through hers, if anybody else wants Jonathan to look at theirs, put your URL in the chat so that he can click on it next and open it up.
yeah, that'd be awesome. So,
All right. Tear it apart, Jonathan.
oh, I'm not gonna tear it apart. Okay, so what we talked about, well, first of all, I'm really proud of you and congratulations for being able to make such a great business, in those areas. That's awesome. The most important thing I think that I saw, which was great, which if you're not in SEO or you haven't learned, which it looks like you have, but like a little bit, which is great. But you've created these service areas, which is going to tell Google, number one, that you service that area. So it helps open up your GeoGrid. And I'll show you guys some GeoGrids here in a second if you'd like, but it tells them that, but also you're able to show up if it's optimized correctly, for those different cities. So, excuse me, what I would do is what I would do is at the top, I would put house cleaning and maid services in Albertville, MN or
Okay.
Minnesota. Spell the whole thing out. You want it in what's called an H1 tag. I think these are probably H1 tags for here. I guess I can inspect it just for the heck of it, but an H1 tag I can't tell, I don't read code. But an H1 tag tells Google what is the most important thing on this page that you want us to understand. And so when you have, a builder like this, you can have the ability to select it to be like, I think yours may say large, medium, and small. I'm not sure if it says H1 or not, but that just tells Google what that page is about. So if for some reason, this web page is not showing up for Albertville, Minnesota for house cleaning, which it may, but if it's not, you want to kind of add a little bit more house cleaning plus keyword content. This right here could just do it all for you, depending on how big the city is. But if some of these are kind of lagging, if you don't have like a rank tracking software to where you can see where they're all showing up, you may
Mhm.
want to rewrite some of these things. It's not bad information at all. It's also not boring information. Sometimes they are a little bit boring because you have to write them to be kind of longer, detailed. You've got to have signals in there and things like that. But yeah, definitely that's really, really great. I would probably say also, since we talked about it, under your services, well, also when I move my mouse over it, it disappears. Ideally, we probably wouldn't want that. And the reason why, it's obviously to me, it's self-explanatory that it's there. I've spent like my whole life on the internet and like, too long. I live and work at home too, so as soon as I gotta get out, so I definitely know exactly what this is, but ideally we wouldn't want it to disappear like that because some people may, especially older people, may be like, where did it go? And
Right.
so, but if you have and I guess it's not even there now, so we can see that's kind of an issue. But if we move
Yeah,
our
that is.
mouse over that, ideally a drop-down menu with the major services that you offer. So it'd be like house cleaning, move out cleaning, deep cleaning. I'm not sure if you do post-construction cleaning or whatever it may be, but maybe if you wanted to pick the 4 or 5 major ones, that would be great because now they're just signals to Google
Hmm.
to help them understand what it is you do and where you do it. I've been able to at times write content for a single page. Let's just say it's a deep cleaning page, and then add in all the cities, and like half of them or more will show up. And this was like in Orange County, California, not too long ago. and to be able to write the content well enough to kind of weave in multiple cities in one service page. And so that's something you can, do for sure to help you kind of just show up with one page and not have to build a ton of pages. So that's pretty good. I think that's good there. So I would definitely add more pages in a drop-down menu. Meet the team. That's awesome. That's definitely a signal with Google for sure. Um, hold on. And then about, I'm not sure what's over here, but I'm sure it's a great story. And people love stories, you know what I mean? They buy from people. People buy from people. So
Mhm.
that's great there. You have your, I know you have a podcast. Do you have a podcast?
Yeah. So Sandy showed me Notebook LM, and I was like, cool, let's throw some information in here. And this is like all I did.
Oh, this is cool. Well, I'll be on your podcast if you want. You want some content? And the
It's
blog. Okay, good.
it's more Rescue My Maid Service has a has a podcast. That was just like
I was just
some
getting ready to say, Jonathan, it's so funny you said that. Just remember you said that when I email you probably next week about it.
Okay,
yes.
I'm gonna write down podcast question mark on here. Um, okay, so this is a good glad we're on this page right now. So for everybody who's listening, so blogs, people are like, do I have to write a blog every day? Blah, blah, blah. You don't have to write one every day. If you like to write and stuff, that's great. If you have something to say, that's great, more power to you, write as much as you want. But what I was going to tell you is that there's actually ways you can create signals to Google with your blog and have something and have create authority in your area, in your niche, in your industry, for that are specifically designed for the search engines to understand who you are, what you do, and where you do it. And so you can have a blog post that talks about, the five coolest things to do in such and such city, and then you can link from that blog post to that actual cleaning service page because interlinking content on your website, from one page to another is actually quite important. It's a good signal. So we can talk about like if people use like the AI stuff, AI tools, which are free to most people, especially ChatGPT. There's something called prompts, which you can use that I can help share with you guys that will help you with creating blog posts that are going to be useful to people, and it just creates signals to Google and lets them know, who you are, what you do, where you do it, especially if you're in a competitive area, where you need to kind of show yourself as an authority. So that's something about blog posts. I wouldn't really personally be able to love to write a lot of blog posts information, but I do have an assistant for that, so that's kind of helpful. So frequently asked questions, that's also really good because AI, or there are answer engines, whatever it is, they love questions and answers for some reason. And so when people ask questions like, oh wait, I'm not sure, you probably know, but are you like licensed, bonded, and insured? If that appears on this page somewhere, it likely could have been pulled from there, where you had pulled up that question for yourself as well. So Google likes that too in the search and the AI and all that. So that's really good. What I would probably say here, just for your homepage, is two things that I think would be important is like, well, three things. The services we talked about that. Maybe offer some sort of special. Do you have competitors entering the market quite a bit? I don't know,
Mhm.
but if you have a special where it's like you have 50% off your second clean if it's recurring cleaning, something like that. Whatever makes sense for your business, that would be a good way to help choose you over maybe some of your competitors. If you're out in a rural area, it doesn't really matter, that's fine. But if for those of you who are not in rural areas, offering some sort of incentive to choose you over, someone else, like we talked about in the beginning, is important. And then also an opt-in form, I think would be good. With Wix, I don't know how you would do that. I'm not really familiar too much with Wix. You've got the download the checklist to subscribe.
Mhm.
So you're creating a list for people. That's really cool. I don't really create a lot of lists, so I know I should be doing that, but that's good. So, but an opt-in would be good. So if you maybe have, a budget for a designer to and go onto Fiverr.com or something like that and say, hey, can you design an opt-in form on my homepage for on Wix? They may say
Mhm.
yes, it'll be like $30 or something because I think people work pretty cheap out there. I think that would be the only thing that you really need. And then just make sure that, we do talk about, house cleaning as a keyword, maid service as a keyword. Google knows who you are, you know what I mean? You just type in
Mhm.
home cleaning here, but you kind of have to force it down their throat a little bit. So, other than
Right.
that, I think it looks pretty good, and I'm glad that you're there. Um, does anybody else have any like questions about their website or anything else about how
Yeah,
this
you've got
works?
two websites in chat that they want you to check. One
Okay.
for Amanda and one for Anna.
Okay, so Amanda was there first. Let's go ahead and start from the top and work our way down. Hi, Amanda. All
Hi.
right. Okay, you're on. Good. Sorry, I tried to copy that and it didn't copy, so let me go back here real quick. The made for you. All
Yeah,
right.
you have to click it and it'll open it. It's not letting, I don't know what I've got wrong in the Zoom settings where y'all can't copy what somebody types.
Okay, so it's just the madeforyou.com, right?
Yeah, themadeforyou.com.
Cool. All right, so is this a WordPress site?
Yes.
Cool, it looks like it. Good. So WordPress is actually a great platform now that we're talking about that. It's Google tends to index the pages better. It likes the fact that it's on this certain code and platform, but also it gives you the ability to add in plugins. And so when you have like Squarespaces or GoDaddies or Wixes or some of the other ones out there that just kind of give you what they give you, you're kind of stuck. So let's just say this website needs to load faster. You'd want to use a plugin that usually a lot of them are free that will just like it'll minify the code, it'll minify the pictures, things like that. And there's one called NitroPack that I use, and it helps speed up the website. The faster a website loads, that's another signal to Google that you're preferred over someone else. I've never seen one plugin do it all, but when you have like 100 different things that could potentially get you where you need to be, that's one thing that's going to help benefit your site visitors as well as Google. So this is good. All right, so Amanda, get instant quote. That's great. I'm glad you have that on there. Your phone number is really prominent. So let's talk about colors real quick. I
Okay.
didn't really cover that, but there's action colors and there's like passive colors. Black, I don't really know about where that falls into that, but the action colors are like green and orange. And so I'm going to show you an example here real quick here. So green action color. So let's see if we can find a good example of them. So you can write this down or whatever it may be, but you'll see that green means go, okay? Sometimes people have red colors on there, and red means like danger or stop. It used to mean, yeah, it used to mean a while back, in the beginning, it used to mean like, oh, action, like red, I gotta do it now. But it's since changed to like more of an orange color. So a green means go type of color, and an orange color works really well. If you go onto Amazon, you'll see that their color is kind of like an orange yellow for every single add to cart, and they probably spent millions of dollars figuring that out. So what I would say is if you have the ability to change this to like, I prefer the orange action color. I think it works better. I have an e-commerce website. The day I changed all the colors to that, which was thankfully was just like a click. I got like multiple sales that same day because I think it was like blue before. Blue is a very passive color. It means like don't take action, but this is the actual color code that I use. It's FFA 500. It's called a hexadecimal color or something. Um, but anyways, I would change it to that. That stands out right away and it gets people to take action. So I would do that for all of your buttons right there. Your services look good. House cleaning services, it's called that. Great, you've got packages in there. That's all good. deep cleaning, party service, and after party cleanup. Where were you when I was in high school? Actually, I wasn't too bad, but there were some times. But move out cleaning, you've got that in there. That's great. Home cleaning services. So where are you located?
Just north of Philadelphia in Pennsylvania.
Do we have a name of a city to throw at me?
Warminster.
Morminster. Okay, cool. So home cleaning services in Morminster, PA. That's what you want to change this to. Because that way people, and the search engines know exactly, where, not just what you do, but where you do it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, just change it to that. That's really good. So the fact that I was asking, it's kind of like, oh, okay, he's to know where we're at. You know what I mean? So that's good to know. Now down here you've got Warminster and surrounding communities throughout Bucks in Montgomery County. Okay, cool. You've got your social proof, which is awesome here. So social proof is not just these ratings here from Google, but also these two. These, you're winner of this and winner of that. You're cleaning for a reason. She was around. That was around when I was around when I was doing cleaning back in like 2012. So that's all really good. So you're doing all of this right here. This is great. If it's even higher than this, that probably would be even better. It just gives you really good trust factors. So that's good.
So
See what
put
else
the
we can.
trust factors like higher on that main page.
I would probably, if it were me, I'd probably just pop it up like just above these if you can. There's some
Okay.
themes are locked in like that, and so where you can't do it, but it's not the end of the world. It's just something that immediately tells people, oh, these are really good people. This is a really good company. They've got all these different awards and they've got all these different reviews, and then they'll go ahead and kind of dig into more of like the meat and potatoes of the different types of services and stuff. So generally speaking, the little bit higher, the better. But it's not going to be like a deal breaker. They get a quote. Again, change that to the FFA 500. And I think you're going to see a little bit of a difference, with people getting that free quote. And you're in Warminster. Cool. So are you in other cities too? It looks like you have a service area page here. Let's check out that.
Yeah, service area is actually pretty big.
Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and check out Jameson. House cleaning and maid services, catering, party service, and party cleanup services available throughout Jameson, PA. Do you do catering also?
Yep, not so much recently.
Okay. That's considered a different type of business to Google. And so what I would probably do is if you have I don't know how we do that, but if you really wanted to get into catering, you want a whole new website for that. You'd definitely want to have it's a completely different site, and then you likely would need a different address for that, if you wanted a Google business profile. So if you have maybe like another office or you have an office there and you wanted to make a fake like office number, like for example, when I was working as a consultant, we would move around every few years, and I would just create a cleaning company in that office. And so we were on I remember this one place downtown in Salt Lake City. It was number 500. So I just created number 509 and that did not exist. And I used that instead. So if you do have an office or something like that, you can always create like a fake number. It'll still go to your box or whatever, but you can definitely do that and just kind of create a new Google business profile. So that's good here. I'm not sure how these rank. Yeah, how do these rank? Do you know? Do you ever check to see if they show up in your area on the first page?
No, I honestly don't know a lot about our website.
Okay.
Um, I know the owner is looking to make some modifications. So the invitation of this call came at the perfect time.
Okay, that's good. Well, as we're talking about it here, I'm just going to check this out, and this isn't. Just want to see here where you show up. If it does show up, it could. Let's go back to this real quick here. Made for you. I used to work for a company called Made for You, Utah. So, all right. So let's see here. Yep, there you are. So it looks like you're probably doing pretty well with those pages, but generally speaking, there's not a lot of content on there. but whenever I work with a client and they are already on the first page of Google for something and it's not exactly how it should be, but it's there, I just tend to leave it. And the pages
Okay.
I'll work on are the ones that like, because you got a lot of pages here, the ones that are not showing up, that's when I'll start to add more content to those because you have nothing to lose when they're way down there. You know what I mean? But up
Right.
there, if Google's already used to you being up here for this city, I would leave it. And then what you'd probably want to do here is add another call to action, like request a quote, and just add a button down here. And I think that would help you convert those individual pages a little bit better. So that's cool. Those all look good. So good job on those. So does the owner work, have they just been studying like SEO or like how to be able to kind of create your websites properly for search?
We have not been getting the best results from our Google ads. And for a while, especially with the Google local, we were really struggling. We were paying for leads that are like an hour away at like not even close to our service area, but it counts against like we were really, really struggling. So she's been trying to hone in on that the last couple of months and be effective with the Google searches and the Google My Business and yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Well, so is this area, did I, hold on, I can hear myself. Okay, one moment here. So this is the area right here, right, that you're in? Okay, cool. So a lot of this is not heavily populated like Philadelphia would be. You guys are staying out of there. You
Right.
guys on the okay, that's cool. Well, good. So you looks like you have a lot of different cities there. That's great. But overall, I think you guys are doing a great job, and so if there are certain things that need to be tightened up, definitely work on those. And that could be helpful. And even having a pop-up, I know people sometimes don't like them, you know, I tend to make mine like pop up after 60 seconds or something, but you can even have a pop-up or something that would, offer some sort of discount for your first service or a discount on a deep clean before your regular service, things like that. But this is really good also to have that ability to ask questions and then send those answers over. I just had a client yesterday ask me what I thought about like he wasn't even sure what they were called. I assumed they were AI chat bots. I'm like, I've never created one before. I really don't know how to train them, this and that. But any way to be able to get to people to get them to answer you is good. So
Right.
call or text us. That's awesome because some people don't have the ability to receive text. So, do you have any specific questions about your site right now as far as like things that are on your mind?
Um, we use Sell Convert Clean. So when you click get a quote, it links right to there and it gets them their quote right away, which is great. Um, I know she was thinking about just linking the get a quote differently and having the get a quote format be a little bit different. Um, I
Okay.
know colors wise, I hear what you're saying about the colors because I'm seeing a lot of blue. Uh,
This is fine. No, this is fine. The blue is for like the buttons.
okay.
So it's not, no, your site is pleasant looking for sure.
Okay.
Definitely. It's just for like the buttons, like get a quote. It just helps convert a little bit better. It's called
Okay.
conversion rate optimization. So I think your site looks really cool. And then you've got that. So you get a quote thing. There's different services that are offered, for that. There's ZenMaid, there's Jobber, there's I think maybe like another one that's slipping my mind right now. So if you don't like the way the get a quote is set up, there are ones that are like set up a lot differently than this that I think you may
Sure.
like a little bit better. So I can always show you on another call or something if you wanted to check those out. But they're paid services, but they're kind of all encompassing. I'm sure you've probably heard of them. But
Right.
okay, so let's go ahead and check out this other one. WeCleanYouRest.com. Let's check that out. That sounds good. Resting. All right, so that's cool. All right, so this site, do you know what platform this is made on? It looks like it's WordPress. I'm not sure if
Hi, yes, WordPress.
it's WordPress. Okay, cool. So what? Oh, where am I at? Let's go back here again. Okay, cool. So it
I
doesn't look
told you,
too
Jonathan,
bad.
we lose the Zoom screen at least once a call.
I am that person. I am that person, especially if I'm not like, yeah, I don't know. When I get tired, I'm like, where am I at now? Okay, cool. So, number one, the site looks good. I think it could you maybe use a facelift, and you can actually go to a place. You can either have a designer just to move a few things around, like on Fiverr.com or something like that, or you can use a different theme. This kind of presents in an unusual way to me because, we definitely want to get rid of that. We don't want it to say home. You
Mm-hmm.
know, your house cleaning solution is one call away. Your house cleaning solution in where are you located?
Marietta, Georgia.
Marietta, Georgia. Okay, your house cleaning solution in Marietta, Georgia is just one call away. So Google knows, who you are, what you do, where you do it, and what you have on that homepage is really, really important to them because they want to see that above the fold. It tells people exactly what it is you do and where you do it. And they do that because they want the experience of the consumer to be useful and they want them to be able to understand right away what it is that you guys have to offer. I would add a phone number on here for sure. That way
Mm-hmm.
people can contact you right away. I see you've got some services here. Awesome. Good job. First time cleaning, regular, deep cleaning, laundry, move in, move out. Okay, good. So let's go ahead and check that out real quick. Okay, cool. So I would just make some simple changes to this. I would go ahead and change it to like honestly, I'd change it to, house cleaning. Service. That's the keyword, house cleaning service. Don't forget the service part. And then maybe something like called like main service or something. I know that you have different types of services and you can put this information on that page. I would just call it that and then optimize it for that. One of the pieces of optimization that's really, really important that I think I haven't talked about yet, which is pretty easy, especially for you guys if you have a plugin, even with Wix, even with Squarespace, there's SEO spots for that. But what you're telling Google about this page is this. When you see my mouse, I'm going to move it up on this tab, and it's going to pop something up. So first time cleaning services, a trusted hand housekeeping. Okay, that's the name of your a trusted hand housekeeping. I'm not sure what that means, but what we want it to say is like house cleaning services in Marietta, Georgia, and then maybe have your brand name in there or even your phone number in there. So those are all things about optimization. That's on-page optimization stuff. So the organization of this is good. I'm glad that you have, these pages in there so people know, oh, that's exactly what I'm looking for. That's what they're offering. That's wonderful. You've got a checklist in here. That's really good. Those are really, really popular. I see people have they actually have pages that just say checklist on there, and those checklists have some of the highest amount of hits I see when I'm looking at people's analytics. That has the highest amount of hits for those checklists. So definitely do that. But I think maybe a potential redesign would be helpful for you. Probably inexpensive, or maybe just somebody going ahead and just moving a few things around, having an opt-in over there, making sure you talk about where you're working, having the phone number in there. So I'm not sure if you guys have been to Fiverr.com before or not, but a lot of people work overseas. They work for pretty cheap. I just had somebody build like a pop-up and have it go to someone's email for like $20. It took them like a week, but I still got it done. So I
Okay.
do that. You've got some good trust signals in here as well. What you can also do if you're thinking about changing the whole look to it, which I'm not saying you should. I mean, I don't think you need to. I think you just need the upper part to be kind of reorganized. That's all you really need, to be honest
Okay.
with you. Get rid of home,
Okay.
put your phone number in here, and then have the top part reorganized. Do you ever go in the dashboard in the back end?
who does it. I mean, they did it like 10 years ago, and it hasn't had a refresh. I just go in and put the offer, the promotion for the month, and that's the most I and the blog, and that's it. Because I'm not good
Okay.
with websites.
Yeah, I mean, it's a learned thing, and you have other things to deal with, so I completely understand. Do you know if it says something like a builder in the background that says something like Elementor or like the Beaver
Yes,
builder or is it Beaver
yes.
or Beaver? Okay, yeah. So,
Elementor.
oh, Elementor. Okay, great. So that's one of the easiest ones to work with, not for me, but like for other people. So you could
Okay.
probably go to like, have you been to Fiverr.com before?
No.
Okay, cool. So here's a secret for you guys. Um, I will go and like if one of my clients needs like a pop-up or they need something, I just go and get someone that I already work with and have them do that. So what you can do is you can go here and type in like WordPress design. Okay. This is especially for you because you don't want to spend a huge amount of money on this. All you need is them to reorganize those because
Okay.
so Elementor has it in like blocks essentially. You just need someone to reorganize it and make it look nice. And so they're going to ask you, well, what do you want it to look like? So you can kind of say, okay, well, I saw this one up here that I thought was really good. Can you make it look like that? Or not, I'm not just saying just this one. There's other ones out there. I would Google for like Miami house cleaning service or like New York or whatever it is. And I'm like, oh, this looks really sharp. I like this. Can you do this? And then they'll give you like a quote. So sometimes people will do this for like $70. I'll be your designer for $70. Well, what does that include? So you kind of click on that, figure out they'll design or redesign a responsive WordPress website for one page. Okay, so for $63, you can have that whole thing look banging. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of a good way to save money, not have to go to a designer that's going to charge you like all this money to do it. So I would probably just have this part right here from here up just
Mm-hmm.
reworked. And then
Okay.
they're gonna ask you for an example. Well, what do you want it to look like? Can you make it look like this? Sure, no problem. So you pay them, and then they don't get paid. They don't get the money until it's finished. So they're not just gonna like leave you high and dry. They're gonna ask. Fiverr is gonna ask. Well, they're gonna present it to you and say, "Okay, we're done here." And if you don't like the way it looks, you can say, "Okay, I want a revision," that sort of thing. So if you need some help about that, email me or whatever, or I don't know, find me somehow. You can find me through that
Mm.
website or whatever, or you can find me on Facebook or my YouTube channel, whatever it is. Um, anyways, and so that I think would be good is to redesign that, add a phone number, and I think you're set. But make sure you say where you're at. How is it going
Yes.
with this? How is it going? Are you getting leads to your site?
We do because we the people who made the website also offer the SEO services, and we have been with them since January. So for 6 months they have been fixing a lot of bugs and things. And when people fill out their quote and we ask how did you learn from us, they say just Google search, and they go to our website and just click on there, and it's we have it through SendMade, the quote. We want to add like a little calculator where they can put the square footage, bathrooms, and kind of gives them the price,
Yeah,
because nowadays millennials just want to like fast, what's going to cost me, so they can compare at least what it costs, and then they can call us.
got it. Okay, so your business is called A Trusted Hand.
Yes, but the website was taken, so we yeah, the owner came up with the WeCleanYouRest.com, which is our slogan.
Okay, so if it's called A Trusted Hand, because I thought it was called We Clean You Rest,
I
you want a
know.
logo. So this over here on the left should be on the right. And
Okay.
over here on the left should be your logo. That way people know this is a trusted hand. Because I had no idea. I kept saying a trusted hand, and I was like, what does this mean? Because
Exactly.
your logo isn't there. And so those are things that are kind of important. I think the button colors, we talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
These aren't,
Yeah.
they could be better. Also, your title tag for the website is a trusted hand housekeeping in Marietta, Georgia. Housekeeping is one of the lowest search keywords for in the house cleaning industry.
Okay.
So I would potentially reevaluate, depending if you're getting like leads and you're getting things are doing well and you're happy, do what you got to do. But I would potentially reevaluate the abilities of the person who's doing this because they're targeting keywords that are not being searched for as much. Move in and move out, those should be two separate pages because people have done this before many, many times. That's why I know. When people have a move in, move out, Google kind of splits it and doesn't really kind of understand one is move in and one is move out. And a client told me one time, she's like, I don't want any move out cleans on my website at all. I said, why?
Mm,
And she said, because the move in cleans are the ones where I can go ahead and when they move in, then I can sell them for regular cleans, sell
gotcha.
them on regular cleans too. So like I would probably separate those two. That way people you'll know what they want and you'll know the type of person that they are that you can, okay, the move-ins are more likely to sell than the other ones. So that's good. Yeah. I just probably maybe reevaluate that in a little while and just kind of see how it's going and look for something else. Are they doing your blog posts too? So if they
Mm-hmm.
are regularly, that's good. Cool.
Yeah, every week.
Cool. So yeah, so you get that, right? Logo, move that over,
Yes.
maybe
The
go
phone
ahead and
number.
just, cool,
Yeah.
perfect. Okay, great. Do
Thank
we
you.
have, yeah, of course. Yeah, thank you for letting me do that. I feel bad doing it. But I
No,
think it's
appreciate it.
important. So, are there other people? Okay, Marcella, let's go and check out yours. marcellashousekeeping.com. All right, let's go check that out.
Jonathan,
Hello, how are you?
how are you?
Pretty good. I like doing this. I used to do this all the time. And like when I was a consultant, I was doing this back to back, like 7 or 8 1-hour calls every day. And that was a lot.
Wow,
So
that's a lot.
I'm happy this is like 2 hours, and not like 8. So that's good. I do see that you have rank math, by the way. So I'm sorry, the person I was speaking with. Boss,
Say that again.
Marcella, not just not you. It was the other. It was Anna. Yes, Anna. Yeah. So you see, you have Rank Math as your plugin in there. That's a good SEO plugin, but they should probably tighten up the SEO just a little bit on that. But the plugin is good. I just saw, so it's a good thing. Cool, Marcella. Nice website. This looks great. I like
Oh,
it. You're in
good.
San Diego. You're like in the one of the hardest markets ever. How are things going?
It's low. It's very tough
A
to
little
get new
slow, a little
leads.
tough. Okay. Well, it
Yes.
is San Diego. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm from North Orange County, like Brea, Yorba Linda, Fullerton. So
Mm-hmm.
all of Southern California, I think, is and just like any major city, they're all pretty tough. But this is a really good looking site. I love it. Looks like you're using, what's this, ZenMaid?
Cellmate, correct.
Okay. We love ZenMaid. I talk on their conferences every year. They've been able to they're really helpful to me. So this looks
Mm-hmm.
good. Look at that. You've got your coupon in there. That's awesome. You got your request a quote. I'd probably change that background color to be orange just to
Mm-hmm.
help that stand out a little bit more. And you know what? It seems like they're like these are really small things, but like you
Mm-hmm.
kind of have to really push people to do what you want them to do. Some people just don't have the ability to make decisions on their own. So like you really have to kind of push people with that. Okay, cool. So you've got your services here. Okay, so is this a one-page site?
It is a one-page site. I don't
Okay.
have any drop
Are you
drops.
able to create more on here?
I think so.
I think you can too. But sometimes they're just set up differently. This is a
Marcella,
WordPress. Yeah.
this is a rescue site, isn't it?
It is.
I knew your website looked familiar. I was like, I have seen this. This has got to be one of Tiana's.
Yes,
Tiana
it
did a good
is.
job.
Yeah,
Yes.
so Tiana's got the one page sites offered for folks that they just needed something more budget friendly. And then it
Mm-hmm.
does allow them to take like the services page and break it out later. So she just would email Tiana and then Tiana can, help her from there. But yes, she does have the ability to break it out.
Perfect. Okay, that's wonderful because you're half the battle, most of the battle's already been done. So let's go back to the services so I can find them real quick again. One second. I'm gonna pop down. Okay, great. So you've got residential cleaning, so that's good. We'd want to, if you were doing optimization for it, residential cleaning would be good. If people click on that, how I'd probably have it set up is when they get to the next page, we probably
Mm-hmm.
have maybe how I kind of had this before when we had the different services. This is commercial cleaning specific, so it's a little bit different. But I'd probably have, if it's residential, I'd have a link to like house cleaning service, maid service, move out cleaning, deep cleaning, move-in cleaning, things like that. And so that way you have multiple pages to be able to help rank you in San Diego for those multiple keywords. Because, excuse me, right now you don't really have, let's go, I need to close out some of my windows here. One second. This is why my computer tends to like crash because I've got too many windows open. But I would yeah, definitely split them up, that way you have the ability to create those pages. Then for small offices, you can do the same thing. And you can have a page that goes to that has some content on there that discusses like medical office cleaning or dental office cleaning or small office cleaning or whatever different types of like those commercial type of cleaning keywords you'd want.
Mm-hmm.
One trick about this is that, well, it's important that you guys know this also, is that house cleaning services and commercial cleaning services are treated as two completely separate businesses to Google. In the Google business profile, you have the ability to select what your primary category is and maybe a secondary category or however many you want, and if you have one that's just house cleaning service, okay, Google knows you specialize in that. If you have one that's just commercial cleaning, then you specialize in that. If you have both of them, they're kind of like, oh, they're kind of like they're doing both. They don't really kind of put you where you need to be. So a way around that I've found is when people have house cleaning service websites primarily, and they want to work in some commercial cleaning, but not like all of the commercial cleaning. Being able to create specific pages like medical office cleaning San Diego. I mean, so you're in a competitive area, but or dental office cleaning or urgent care or chiropractic or gym or whatever it is, if you can get very specific about the type of cleaning that it is, you can kind of force your kind of way in there, work your way in there a little bit without being a commercial cleaning company. Martial arts studio cleaning San Diego. How many are, I mean, it is San Diego, but still, how many people are really going to have that page? Probably not a lot.
Not
So
a lot.
so when you do create specific pages like this for specific types of cleans, it helps you show up a little bit better, and it will help Google understand that you're doing specific types of jobs and not just all commercial cleaning. So that could be helpful for you too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I got that there. Good. That's good. So yeah, I think the site looks really great. You've got your request a quote in there. What do you think is your biggest issue right now that you think I can potentially have an answer to if you've got a question?
But it doesn't have much SEO. I guess we need to look into that.
Okay, so when
So,
people Google for your business, do you show up
none at
anywhere?
all.
Not at
No.
all. Okay, let's see what's
Um,
going on real quick here. I'm just going to take well, so I can copy it real quick. Otherwise, let's type it in and try to figure it out. Just want to copy that. All right. What's your phone number? 619?
9342108
Okay, so what should happen is your website should show up and
Mm-hmm.
your Google Business profile should show up. And they both are showing up. So that's good.
That's
So
good.
yeah, that's good. So you have a displayed address also. So that's
Mm-hmm.
good because when you have a displayed address, generally you tend to show up better than other people who just have a service area business. So I would imagine that any leads that you are getting from Google, you're probably getting them from around this area, right?
Correct.
Okay, cool. But you kind of probably want to get them from further areas out.
Mm-hmm.
Is this
Yes.
is this an office or is this a home?
A home office.
It's a home office. Okay, gotcha.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so
Right.
that's one of the things that, I think would be helpful for you specifically is to be able to do those service area pages, like we had before, like Michelle had. If we
Mm-hmm.
go back to the other one, were you here for that?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So go ahead and create a page for like uh Allied Gardens house cleaning, San Carlos house
San
cleaning.
Carlos, yeah, that's the area that we are trying to target, San Carlos area.
Okay, great. So you want to create a page on your website, optimize a service area page, optimized for San Carlos. And the good thing is it's not far away from you, and it's
Mm-hmm.
basically like a neighborhood. It's not necessarily like, well, I'm sorry, is it a neighborhood or is it actually its own city?
Our neighborhood.
Okay, great. So neighborhoods are really easy to rank. So if
Uh-huh.
you say you're right here, and these are all neighborhoods, the ones that kind of start showing up here. If you
Mm-hmm.
created a service area and you went ahead like this, you're like, hey, I want to work in this area right here. And you created a page for Rolando Village and Mid City and East San Diego and University Heights and Birdland and Serra Mesa and Parkview and Allied Gardens and San Carlos. Google's going to say, okay, great. They're here and they work in all these neighborhoods. They must service this area around here. And
Mm-hmm.
so it helps with the search engines to understand what your territory is and how far away, you work from your area. You can go insofar as to creating more pages on your site for those different cities that are further down also, like City Heights and Hillcrest and North Park, Lemon Grove. So you can do as much as you want. It just depends on the budget that you have, and how hard you want to work. I forgot to show you guys here what I wanted to show you before, those GeoGrids. And when I talk about that area around you, I'm going to show you something that I think is interesting to see. So here's some guy I'm working with right now. So this is what you ideally would want to see, is you'd want to be
Mm-hmm.
able to see. Now he's out in the sticks, so this is different. And we just signed up yesterday actually, but he wants to show up like here and out here and over here. And so we have a little challenge for that. But this is what he's done a good job because he's out in the middle of nowhere. But you want to be able to see your GeoGrid look like this, and to show that you're in positions number 1, number 2, and number 3 in the Google Maps. When you start to show up in 5 and 4 and 10 and all that, you're on that second page. So as we kind of revisit this again, like 1 second, whatever. Type some here. So this is position 1. This is a sponsored ad. Forget about that. It's position 1, position 2, and position 3. So that's it. So then we have to click on businesses, and we see 3 sponsored ads. And we got 1, 2, and 3. And now we've got 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. So when we're on this grid, we see that these are all on the second page of the maps, anything that's not green. So he doesn't have it all, because some of these don't show up, at all. They're at 20 plus. So he's showing up here because there's nothing here in Calamasa, right? So we have to work on some of that. But also he has no real reference on his website to commercial cleaning service yet. And so this should all change hopefully pretty quickly. So that's what those GeoGrids are. So in your case, to being able to show up, in your area, you're probably showing up just right above it, but you want to show further out and expand. So telling Google those neighborhoods that you work in will help it understand a little bit better and help your GeoGrids move further out. So
Okay.
hopefully sorry, it's a long explanation, but
Right. Okay.
since
So
we're here,
right. So just service area page.
I would make service area pages, yeah, and at least list the service areas until you create content on those pages. So
Mhm.
that's good. Okay,
Okay.
Lori, are you still here with us? LL Cleans.
Okay. Thank you, Jonathan.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, for sure. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll be around here for a little bit, and you can find me on, where's my site? Yeah, cleaningserviceseo.com. You can contact me here.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Of course, no problem. So this site looks good too. I like it. You've got your phone number in here. Get your free cleaning quote. The call could probably send out a little bit more. Again, people are just people, you know what I mean? Sometimes they don't see it in 2 seconds, they leave, But I've been around in is this Richmond, Virginia? Okay, cool, yeah. I've worked in that area before. since 2008. So you should be doing pretty good because if you've been around since 2008, Google should kind of know who you are already, in my opinion. Are you on the mic right now? No? Is anyone on the mic? Lori? Okay. If you're not on the mic,
Okay.
Okay, now I am.
okay, sorry. If not, I was just going to continue to say you can watch the replay
That's
later.
okay.
How is it going in this area? You must be doing pretty good because you've been around for so long.
It's not bad. Right now I'm having staffing issues, which seems to be not unusual for me. Um, I think everyone's having the problems. But anyway, no, it's doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. I can't complain. Um, this is a fairly new site. It's about a month or two old.
Okay. Yeah, no, it looks pretty good. I like it. I think it's a nice looking site. It seems to be up to date. I'm not sure how long you've been on the call for, but if you have Google, I'm sure you have a bunch of Google reviews, but I'd probably add in that kind of ticker tape looking thing where it shows all your great reviews in there. If
Okay.
you won any awards or you're like working with, people like Debbie Sardone for cleaning for a reason or whatever, adding those in there would be good. We did talk about services and stuff before. So having like a drop-down menu that mentioned house cleaning, maid service, move out cleaning, deep cleaning, things like that. Those are all just signals to Google to let them know, what you do and where you do it. And so you do have Richmond in there. I'd probably put VA in there just because there could be other Richmonds. But so far,
Okay.
so good. I mean, I think the site looks great. Have you noticed any uh, changes in your like rankings at all when it comes to since you changed your website? Is anything going on that's different?
We have gotten more leads with it.
More leads.
More leads.
Good.
So I'm
That's great
I'm
to
very
hear.
pleased in that respect.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's what you want. And so when you go ahead and when you change a website from maybe being an older website to a newer one, it will give people that kind of standard look that they're looking for. So
Hmm.
that's great. If you have a webmaster, and they're working on your site and it's not going to cost all kinds of money, I would definitely say to add some sort of opt-in to, those are really helpful to have where they can just right there request a quote, Um, everything looks pretty good as far as I can see. You can click on that and the telephone will ring. Now, can you receive text messages to this number?
Yes.
Okay, so if they can expand that, which they likely are able to do if it's just a button to put in
Hmm.
their call or text, that would be great because people like to text, and not
Okay.
call because people are afraid of each other all of a sudden. I don't know why, but like they don't want to get on the phone with people. I personally would never really like have somebody in my home unless I spoke with them. That's just me, you know what I mean? But some people like to book right away, and they're just saying, just come on down, and that's kind of it. So. But you have all that in there. It looks like it's all pretty good. I would just probably expand on the services a little bit more. Um, if it's competitive in your area, I know you're on the outskirts of Richmond a little bit, but
Hmm.
offering some sort of incentive or a special to try you guys out for even if it's for recurring cleaning, that'll pay for itself, pretty quickly. And so if you can get, implement some of these changes we talked about today and get, you know, 10 more clients, a month, would that be helpful
Oh, yes, it would definitely be helpful.
in the next couple of months? Yeah, that would be good. So the service area also as well. I think I did just could have sworn I just had your page up a second ago, your Google business profile. L&L Cleaning Services, Richmond.
Well, yeah, we're in Mechanicsville, outside of Richmond.
I spelled that right, but the VA I didn't. So okay. Okay, so reviews. What's up? What's going on with that? You've been around since 2008. Why do we only have four?
Well, that is interesting because we had multiple and Google suspended my page.
Okay.
And when they suspended it because the addresses didn't match or whatever, they just didn't like me that day, I lost every one of my reviews.
How many were there?
Probably about over 100 there
Okay.
listed.
So, that happened to a friend of mine in Salt Lake who had a mobile notary business. And all of a sudden, one day it was just gone and we couldn't find it and blah, blah, blah. And so I had to kind of fight and fight and fight and say, hey, this was the link to the other page. And I needed to combine them. For some reason, it's gone. It disappeared. They said, what are you talking about? Blah, blah, blah. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Finally, they were able to combine them. So if you have a link somewhere to where it was a share link you sent to somebody, or you have the full link to your Google business profile, the old one, I think you
Hmm.
can still message them and go back and forth and do that. I have someone on my team that gets their people's Google business profiles unsuspended because a lot of times they come to us suspended and they need
Hmm.
help like unsuspending them. So I could potentially ask her, hey, this is the situation. Can you get someone on that side to combine them and unsuspend the other one? It's possible you can get like
Okay.
all your reviews back. So if you want to reach out to me, I can put you guys in touch, or I can go ahead and ask her for you and see if she can do that. But I know it's a pain because a lot of them are working overseas and they don't really care. Basically, they're not here. You know what I mean? They don't have oversight at all. But I would love to be able to see you get your reviews back because you earned all of those reviews, you know.
Yeah, it'd
So,
be great if you could have someone contact me. That would be great.
well, she's also overseas, so I don't think she's going to reach.
Okay.
So just you're gonna have to probably reach out to me. Just contact me, cleaningserviceseo.com, and then just go to contact, or you can call me here. Just call me another day. Call me,
Okay.
call me tomorrow, whatever it is. But or you can just email me. There's an email in there also. You go ahead and just email me and say, hey, can you look at that and just remind me of the business name. And then if you can see the most important thing is if you can find that old link. So if you ever sent anybody an email and said, hey, can you please give us a review? Here's a link. I need that link. Otherwise, it's just gone to them in their minds. It could be like a link that's on an old version of your website. It could be a link that maybe is in an old post you put on Facebook. But if you ever ask people to leave you a review, find that old link, and that's what's going
How
to help
about
you if they need it.
how
Mhm.
about one by text?
Yeah,
We
anything. Just if you,
okay.
yeah, it's got to, yeah, if you have it on text, that's great. It just has to be something, that link. That way they can compare it and say, okay, we can put them together. Likely they're going to say, oh no, we can't do this. No, we can't do this. But just keep fighting, and that's what I mean, I can help you do that if you want. Just kind of keep like messaging them and saying, hey, I'm not sure what the problem is, but I know that there was an issue with this address and that address, but the terms of service weren't really broken and whatever. I can have her handle it.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I think that that's not cool. And then I believe that you could probably do really, really well, again because of that. So did you move homes or home offices?
No, I didn't. We had a PO box somewhere between a website and the Google My Business and a street address on the other, and they didn't like it.
Right, yeah. So for anybody who's listening, don't use PO Box. No, I learned this the hard way too, but don't use PO boxes. Don't use UPS stores. Don't use virtual offices. People like to do that, and sometimes they can get away with it. PO boxes never really quite work, but since you were doing this in 2008, they probably didn't have all those checks and balances in place to where the
Yeah.
PO box probably was just fine. I've got clients now who still have a PO box on their site, and I'm like, we'll deal with it as it comes, you know what I mean? But that's probably why. And so it was probably some sort of automatic suspension, and it was probably a soft suspension, And so at the end of the day, um, you being able to say, this is my new business, this is my new verified Google business profile, that was my old one. Can you merge my reviews? And usually they'll do it. So uh,
Okay.
take some time. But other than that, I think it looks pretty good. I mean, I have clients also who have pink buttons as well. I would probably say if you have the ability since it's a very new website, test it out for like a month, see how it goes, and then maybe change the color to like orange or green. If you don't see any difference at all, then that's fine. Go back. But if you change those buttons to more of an action color, that could
Mm-hmm.
be more helpful for people to be able to go ahead and do what you want them to do. So that, and then creating service pages, and I would probably create a service area page as well. So that's what I did. I went backward. Hold on. So I wanted to see the different cities here, but I got stuck on your reviews. So yeah, so it says you serve Richmond though, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So creating, other pages on your site for these other cities, will also help Google understand your territory, and you should be able to also rank higher in your area. So there's a lot to talk about with this, as far as like we can get really, really in depth, but that's just kind of the lowdown. So I think I've beat this horse to death enough, as far as everybody kind of knows what to look for. So do you have any questions specifically about your site or anything like that at all?
One thing I've often wondered is, like someone else had spoke about earlier, about having the actual estimated prices on the website. Is that beneficial to have that there, or is it better to have them to request the quote or estimate for us to actually communicate with them? I've always been unsure about
Can
that.
I take this one, Jonathan?
Yeah, heck yeah, go for it.
Okay, so there are some caveats to it. If you put a form of some kind of calculator on your website
Hmm.
and them hitting submit or calculate or something like that gives you a first point of contact. So it automatically emails them the quote, or it notifies you that somebody used the calculator and you grabbed their info from them
Hmm.
using it, then yes. If you're just putting a calculator on the website and there's no way for you to know who's using it, who's accessing it, anything like that, it's not always necessarily a good thing.
Okay.
So that's kind of it can work if you have it set up to grab that info so that you can then follow up with them.
Now, would I go about doing something like that? Yeah.
So, well, do you have an estimator app from Rescue?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Okay. Lisa and I are in the process of changing the hosting again so that we can offer the ability for you guys to put it on your website and then be able to download, or you can it will notify you, you can download their estimate to actually send to them so that you have that point of contact with them. It would not be automatic. Now, we have also figured out how to set it up so that if someone uses it and it's collecting their name, their email, stuff like that, there
Hmm.
is another service that we can attach to it for it to email you and let you know somebody used it besides your team. The service is free for up to 200 emails a month, so that would cover most maid services. Um,
Hmm.
but we are still trying to figure out how to move from where we are to this point without you guys losing access to what you have right now. So I
Right.
literally I just emailed Lisa yesterday and I was like, okay, I need you to look at these prototypes and see if they look good. The new apps are so beautiful. They're just, and I'm biased, you know that, but they're gorgeous. But we are working on it. I will make a note to make sure that as this progresses, I follow up with you
Please
specifically
do.
to help you through that. And then also, I don't know if you saw, I put a message in the chat for you.
I saw something flash too, but it went so quick. I saw something maybe real estate agent.
Yeah, so one of my friends in Goochland is a real estate agent, and a few weeks ago, I forgot to email you. She has lost the cleaning person she has been using for Richmond. And I was like,
Okay.
I got you, girl. So I went and grabbed your info and sent it to her, and then I forgot to let you know.
Oh, well, thank you.
So if anybody comes from Sam Smith Homes RVA, that's where that came from.
Okay, should I give them a call or?
Well, I mean, if anybody reaches out and you know how you ask, like, how did you hear about us? If anybody says
Right.
that it was Sam Smith or Sam Smith RVA, I just want you to be like, who is this person and how did they find out about me? It was
All right.
me.
That's perfect. Oh, well, thank you. I greatly appreciate that.
Hey, look, I try to look out for my locals.
Thank you. But yeah, if you could keep me in mind for the estimator, that would be great because I think I truly need that. It would be easier. And of course, keeping track of everything would be great.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so the way that we're thinking is it would still be an internal tool that you guys would access, but you would have the
Mm,
ability after you put in the information, you would have the ability to click a button that says download estimate or create estimate, and then
right.
that gives you the ability to open up the email to that client and just attach that PDF. And it
Okay.
makes it so much easier. And then, like I said, on the flip side of it, we've also figured out how, where if you guys put it on your website and you're collecting that information for their name and their email so that you've got a touch point, a way to get in touch with them to follow up, we figured out the process for getting that set up. But it's so much on the back end to get everything changed over, and we're dead smack in the middle of it right now. So I
Okay.
will keep you posted.
Please do. I greatly appreciate it.
All right, Jonathan, back to you.
Oh no, I think I may have answered all the questions already. I was just going to ask you, this estimator app you're talking about,
Yeah.
is that kind of like something that is for like a ZenMaid sort of thing?
No,
What does it do? Because I've got clients who don't really have much on their site in terms of that, and I'm not sure if we've talked about it, but I'd love to be able to talk about
so
it.
it's right now the way that it's set up, it's intended for internal use. It's for the owners and their support team, when they're providing estimates over the phone or in person or whatever.
Yeah.
And what we do is we have the owner, they give us the information for their pricing. So maybe it's, 65 a labor hour, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, all of that stuff. And then Lisa custom builds their app for their business. So it's not like the free calculators that you can find on Google where it's basing the pricing on like the industry average, because that can really, really mess up the owners that are in like California and places like that.
Sure.
We base it off of their specific pricing, their minimums, whether they want additional time charged for, each animal, each person in the home. It's very customized. And what we're doing, what I was telling Lori, is we're in the process now of trying to move it to another platform where we have the ability for them to be able to click a create quote button once they enter in the information, and it gives them this beautiful PDF that says, your initial deep clean would be this much and
Wow.
weekly would be this and blah blah blah, and then they can send that to the client. But we are smack dab in the middle of trying to figure out how to migrate the existing customers without them losing access to the app in the process. So,
Gotcha. Okay. Well, when it's done, let me know because I think that could be useful for some people that I know that don't have
okay.
anything. They don't have any type of quote system or anything like that. So that's really
Yeah.
cool.
I don't think Lisa made it to the call today, but Lisa's our app builder. She's amazing. She can do amazing things with formulas and math and all of that stuff. She's awesome.
Okay. Well, I don't really have much else to talk about. I think we've already done some evaluations and things. I just want to let people know that you can get your 115 point cleaning company website growth checklist and just kind of goes through a lot of different things we talked about. That way you can kind of see where you're at. You can score yourself and it'll give you an idea as to how healthy your site is because, at the end of the day, we have referrals. We can use, offline things as well. But everybody is looking for, and with intent for cleaning companies are looking online. So there's some resources in here too. There's some ROI calculators. If you want to get a free GeoGrid snapshot like I just showed you guys, you can go ahead and go to the site, go to About, click on this, and then we can go ahead and get you that snapshot that will look like this. Hopefully it looks like this. If not, we kind of change them to look like that. So that's what I kind of had for you guys today. Do you have
Jonathan, for your special offer, for them to be able to claim it, was all they had to do was the registration form? Or do you need them to like email you separately and say, hey, yeah, I want to take advantage of that? Like, what's the best way to handle that part of it?
The best way would be just to come to me and just go ahead and say, click on free GeoGrid snapshot. That way I'll have all their information. I'll be
Okay.
able to add it all in there and then I'll just go email it back to them. Say,
Okay,
hey, this is
awesome.
what it is. So usually I'll do like maybe like the top keywords like house cleaning, maid service, and like move out cleaning or something like that. And then they can kind of see where they're at and send it to them. And then if they have questions, they can go ahead and email me back or book a call or something like that. So that's
Okay,
generally
awesome.
the easiest way. But if you wanted to email someone and say, here's the link to that, that could be easier. That could be good as well.
Okay, so I'll grab the link for your well, it's all on the same page, isn't it? Or is it not? No, it's not. Okay, so I'll
Uh,
grab both those links then. I'll grab your free GeoGrid snapshot
oh,
link
perfect. Yeah,
and
that'll
the
be great.
yeah, and the checklist link, and then I'll put those in the email with the replay when I have it ready.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. But yeah, no, does anybody else have any questions about any of this at all? If
I
not,
I learned a lot. I need to do better with the Google Business Profile for Rescue. I'm terrible about it.
oh, so what's yours? Well, just real quick here before I let you go. So for Rescue My Maid service, what is it like consulting service or something? Is that your category?
Yeah, I think we have it under consulting, but we don't have local because we're literally like worldwide.
Yeah, you're all over the place. It's
It,
almost like I wouldn't really worry too much about it, Sandy, because like people aren't really going to be finding that profile. It's just going to it's just going to serve as a signal to
yeah.
Google as okay, they're a legitimate business. They are located here. These are the services that they offer, and they kind of tie into what it says on your site, and it's almost like done. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And we finally started doing the blog once a week. So that was my big goal is to get that done and stay on top of it. So
Do you have reviews?
yeah, we've got some reviews. We're terrible about bugging people. Like I hate being someone to bug people for reviews. But since we're talking about it, if anybody enjoyed today's roundtable and you would like to leave Rescue a Google review.
I was just gonna Google it and be like, I'm totally gonna leave you a review. And here's also, I'm not trying to promote this because there's not really much going on here. But hold on a second. I have a whole video. It's a whole 5 minutes long about reviews and how they're important. And there's me, okay? But like it's this one right here, the the Clean Company Review SEO secret. Yeah, so basically it talks about when you are that's way too much. Okay, so it actually talks about how to get reviews, but it asks so essentially if you're talking to a client and you are wanting to have them, where'd you guys go down here? If you want them to leave a review, it tells you to suggest to them to add in certain words in there. So as an example, like if I left you a review, which I will, I would say, this is one of the best, cleaning company and then whatever keyword you thought would be the most appropriate, like cleaning company, consulting services in the US or something like that. Because now when you're using the keywords cleaning service, consulting services, let's just say, and it's a review from someone and not a response. It's not in the response, but it's in the review from me. Google
Right.
looks at that and they tie those together. So this one works for you guys because if you're going to be putting something like, if you're going to asking for reviews, let's just say, Lori, for your business, if you can talk to people and say, hey, if you can mention Richmond and house cleaning together in that, that's someone that you're friendly with, that will really help you a lot with your rankings is by having those words from a reviewer in that actual review. I've seen people just skyrocket to page one.
Oh, that explains something that I did not understand that was happening with ours. Okay, good to know.
Yeah,
Um,
totally. So if you guys need any help with that, let me know. But
Also, another question for you for I know everybody's probably overwhelmed with all the Facebook groups and stuff, but Jonathan does have a Facebook group. I will include the link to that in the email with the replay. And Jonathan, I'll also send the link to your YouTube channel too, so that they have
oh, okay,
access to
cool.
all of that.
That sounds great. Thank you. Yes, and I definitely inherited that group from somebody, and so it needs some love and it needs some interaction. So that would be really awesome.
Yeah, we need to love Jonathan's group because it's a big great group, but yeah.
Yeah, it just why somebody I don't know how she got a hold of me, but this was like a couple of years ago, and she ended up just giving it to me. And I'm like, there's not really a lot of engagement in here, and there really wasn't. So I think she started it a long time ago, and just kind of let it float. But there's like 2,200 people or something in there, or maybe
Yeah,
more.
it's crazy. You've got a bunch of people in there, and from what I've been learning about, how the groups work for us, as, the industry folks now, is, it's almost a full-time job to try to get Facebook to show it again once it's died down. The revival process is apparently harder than when you start a new group.
Oh wow. See, you were talking to me
So,
about that, and I was like, well, it's a lot of stuff to do.
yeah. So, but I will definitely include it in the replay email, and I'll also add it into the Rescue Resource Hub too. That might help a little bit, get some fresh people in there that are, engaging, and then that helps revive it too,
I
to get
think
it
that'd be
going to
great.
other members.
Thank you. It's awesome. But thank you all very much. I had a fun time today, talking about all these things. So if you have any questions, let me know. But I think that my work here is done.
Yeah, Jonathan, can you hang on for 1 minute? And Michelle, you stay on, and then we'll let everybody else hop off, and then we'll have this as like the ending point for my edits.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys. We appreciate it so much. I will get the replay to you all as soon as possible.
Thank you.